So what's it like to be 100 years old now?
Well, it's glad to know that she lived this long and still feel as well as she do. But when you can't see nothing, when you're blind, you're miserable just to sit and hold in your hands when you never have done that in your life. I always kept something to be done and where I was raised up. There's a big family of us, and we had to do the housework, you know, and keep things where we could all be able to get our clothes and everything ready to go. And so mother had 12 children, and one of them died when she was little, and they raised 11, and I was next to the last one of them. So I still had to, the two older ones, two next older ones, and me was boys. No, one was boy and one was younger, and I didn't have no one to play with me. They made my girl playhouse, you know, doll playhouse and all. So if I couldn't do nothing else, I'd get out and rumble around in the woods. There wasn't nothing to hinder, you know, nobody to be afraid of. And I had me a little playhouse outside under the scuppernut vine next to the house out. And I had me a little playhouse under that scuppernut vine. And I could go out in the woods and get this, you seen this green moss that grows on the ground?
Uh-huh.
And I'd get me up a bundle of that, armful of that, and bring it back and put it on the floor, put it down on the ground in my playhouse to make my carpets.
So what kind of advice would you give us as we get older?
Well, I don't know what kind of advice to give except just biggest thing I ever knowed. I never worked away from home much, but biggest thing I know was just to keep the house clean and cooking done, wash up the dishes and bedclothes and things like that, and do housework. The only thing I ever worked away from home was a while after, I think that was after I married, wasn't it, when I worked at Lopes and Clark?
Yeah, I remember it.
Packing down, we made pants.
Right, grandmother.
Made pants and made the loops run them in along rows, and they was cut and put in a package.
Well, do you know what the internet is? Are you familiar with the internet now? How you can get on a computer and...
No, I don't.
So here's what I'm doing right now. I'm taking a film of you, and I'm going to put it on the internet.
I didn't have any education, much in just a grammar school. I went to no further than 8th grade in grammar school, and that's the only education I had. So I took in work for a suit man that run a suit shop in Toccoa, and I did his alterations. And on the work that I did in the plant was tack down them loops. You know, loops was put in the top of the band by somebody else and had to be turned down and tacked down. And that was what I did when I worked at Wright's Manufacturing Company, which was a pants factory. That's all the work I ever done except housework. But I always was taught to do cooking and home, you know, cook things that grew outside in the yard in the field. My dad bought the big place down there and built the house, and nobody had a public job. I'd work for this man that let me do his alterations for his customers, you know. and then hemming for pants and such as that. And that was my work that I did until after I married and started. I raised this one son, and after his wife worked at Coast and Clark, I think, and after he married her, after he married his wife, helped take care of 2 children. They had 2 boys, and I helped take care of them till I got to where I began to get disabled myself. So that's been the main part of my life, I reckon. I don't how much I can tell anybody now, because there ain't nobody I know of that's making a living on a farm altogether like I was raised. After we married, I married this man that was working on the farm and had cattle and so on and so forth. So just mainly women's housework has been my job the rest of my life.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and just say happy 100 years to you, and we're going to put this up on the internet for everyone to see how wonderful it is and how beautiful you are on your 100th year. We love you.
Well, I love you all too. I love people. I don't know if I have any enemies. I know that as far as that's concerned, I know a lot of people that I've seen, a lot of people, and say I knew them in a way, but didn't have any personal acquaintance with them. So there I sit now to be weighed on.
Well, it's your turn.
Yeah, I guess it is. And, sometimes I feel like neither one of them, Pat or his wife either, I think they're less disabled to do than I am. If I could just see. But when I get out to work and being blind as I am, I've got macular degeneration, and it's in my eyes too, and I can't see, and when I can't see, I make a mess, and it leaves for something for them to clean up. It'd be better off to do nothing. So I'm not as content as I was when I could use my hands and help do the work.
Well, we love you, don't we, everybody?
Well, I hope they do. As far as I know, I don't have any enemies. Everybody's my friends, but I feel so little because there's nothing I can do to help other people anymore.